Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're gonna have very unusual format because I got this little interesting whiteboard here in my hand with a marker, and we're going to talk about some parts of, IELTS exam preparations. Well, let me start with the very simple proposition. Let me tell you this. If you wanna write a very good, compelling essay for the IELTS exam, you would need to have very sound and logically consistent arguments. Would you agree? Because I think the biggest complaint that I've heard from some graders, not necessarily IELTS exams graders, but graders of other formal examinations, is that usually young people, especially young people who have no experience in sciences or science writing or any kind of formal writing, they lack the understanding that uh, logic plays a big role in in expressing yourself clearly. So let's start with this. Any logical argument, any logical argument consists of the following. And by the argument, I definitely mean some kind of statement that you're making. It doesn't have to be necessarily only the thesis statement that you have in your essays. It may be any other statement that you make. And usually your essay will consist of many such statements or arguments. So uh, each body paragraph will have certain, like a little thesis, and that little thesis should be logically consistent, and then everything that comes after that should be logically consistent as well. So logically consistent argument um, looks like this. You have a premise. You have a premise, and then you have a conclusion. And your job is to make this connection. So premise must be true, and then conclusion must follow from that. Like it's a basic structure of a statement. And this kind of argument is called deductive argument. The reason why it's called deductive argument is because we're going out from general, like top down, or from general to the specific, as opposed to inductive argument where you go from specific back to general. And usually in science, the inductive approach is not very well um, regarded, and that's why you better use this deductive kind of argument in your writing. There's always room for inductive reasoning, but for now let's talk about deductions. So deductive argument is valid if the premises, like these things, are related to the conclusion, to this thing, in such a way that the conclusion must be true if the premises are true. Got it? So premises, these guys, are the statements upon which an argument is based. So we have certain premises and we base our argument, the whole argument, on them. So usually it works well with examples. So let's consider one example. So it's a very basic example. I found it online. So this is our premise. First premise, it will either rain or snow. Sorry, I gotta make a mistake. It will either rain or snow tomorrow. This is our first premise. So premise number one. This is our premise number one. Premise number two is it's too warm for snow. So got it? So we have first premise, it will either rain or snow tomorrow. And second premise, it's too warm for snow. It's too warm for snow, okay. And now our conclusion. Remember, both of these must be true, and only if they are true, our conclusion will follow. And then the whole argument will be valid. So our conclusion is as follows. Therefore, it will rain tomorrow. So as you can see, we have both premises again. They're both true, and the conclusion is true. So whenever you write any argument of yours, make sure that you have the structure in place. Make sure that your arguments abide by this simple rule of logic that says that the argument, in our case deductive argument, is valid if the premises are related to the conclusion in such a way that the conclusion must be true if the premises are true. So on this note, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. I bid you farewell, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. And given that this is our my first tutorial in a new format and in a different language, I think I'll call it like a pilot, because it's a really good pilot episode here. Anyway, bye bye.